Guys in here tight today.
Coach, whenever you're ready, sir.
All right. Tell you what, Gator Nation, keep showing up. We're very thankful. You know, we talked to the players Friday about the importance of homecoming. Obviously, it's independent of the competitive part of the game, the execution of the game, but one day they're going to be coming back, you know, and they're going to be sitting in that stadium watching the team, and they're going to want to be proud of how the team plays, right, the brand of football that they play. And to think about that, right, and who we represent. You know, I think University of Florida is a special place because of the significant impact it's had on a lot of people along the way. So it's good to win on homecoming. It's good to play a little bit better brand of football. I do think there's things that we need to clean up. You know, I think we had a few too many penalties today. We tackled better. Really gave up one play in the first half. And overall, got to play some players there at the end. So, you know, this game requires mental toughness. Certainly playing in the SEC. I do think that every week is a new week, you know, and sometimes, you know, you don't play the way you want to play. You got to get up off the mat. You got to go back in the ring as a competitor. You know, we wanted to play smart today. We wanted to play tough, fundamentally sound, and we wanted to play with better energy. And I think we got that accomplished. So out of respect for the game and out of respect for the work that this group has done, you know, I think they played a little more like we want them to today. So what questions do we have?
Yeah, concern about, you know, some of the injuries coming in, particularly in the offensive side of the ball with, you know, the offensive line and Trevor. And was it say that you were able to, you know, achieve the balance today? It seemed like you were able to throw and run the ball pretty well and pretty evenly.
Yeah, no, I'm proud of the players that had to play. You know, in particular, the two tackles, you know, Lindell, Cam Waits, both of which had an opportunity to play. Trayon Webb did some good things today. It's good to have Trey back. You know, he's a difference maker. And certainly to see Khalil, Andy, those guys get an opportunity. And really, you think about Arlis Boardingham, you know, really showed the growth that we've been seeing, right? That guy's a very capable, he's a mismatch type player, made some really unique plays today. So a lot of good. You know, we challenged them, you know, and I think they answered that challenge.
Getting up off the mat is not always a given, but how do you like how they responded given how tough last week was and how much better was that locker room this week?
Yeah. You know, I continue to tell you guys that I think this group has some character about them. You know, I see some maturity. You know, I think there's some awareness. I think they've got a pretty good understanding of why they win. I think they have a pretty good understanding of why they lose, what contributes to that. They're able to stay pretty steady. And to be quite honest, I mean, I think they were embarrassed a little bit. You know, I mean, I think there was an element to that they wanted to get back in there and play again, you know, and make a statement that that's not who they are, right? So, and look, I think the staff felt the same way. So, you know, there was a lot of good out there. I think we got to keep things in perspective. We got to understand that bigger challenges are ahead. And we got to really, one of the big challenges for our team is to go play well on the road. You know, I mean, I think that's what's next for us, and next week we'll present that challenge for us.
Montrell, just his performance looked a lot like last season today.
Yeah, no, I think Montrell in his career, I think he went over 2,000 yards today, if I'm not mistaken. So early he was good. He was really good. And, you know, the one touchdown, I mean, it just makes a guy miss and walks in there. So he played big today. You know, I mean, he's a 217, 18-pound back. But I thought he played with an edge today. He was tough to tackle. And we blocked him pretty good today. I mean, we got the ball at the second level. I thought we had good man answers today, you know, and we managed the pressure with the perimeter throws, you know, so it was well executed. Montrell was at the center of that for sure.
Do you wince sometimes when you see the beating Graham takes on certain plays? And
Yeah,
what does it say about his toughness?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I want him to get rid of the ball sometimes, you know. But, you know, I think when we look at it, some of the things that happened today, he's holding it a little bit too long probably. You know, we want to blame others, but I think he's going to look at it and say, man, I got to get through this thing and get it out. You know, we took a sack on like 2nd and 1 today. You know, I'm about to break my headset. So, you know, I think he's really critical of himself, right? He wants to do everything exactly the right way. So, very coachable, pleasure to coach, and I do think he's a competitor. I think he showed some toughness. I think the players respect that. And for the most part, you know, Khalil Jackson was only got through an interception today, so he's going to get it for that too. Now, you can't get more open than that.
You mentioned Cam Waits' return to the field. Could you speak a little bit about just that journey, what you've observed there, and what it meant to you to see someone so committed?
You know, Cam is, I think he'll be a chapter in the book one day. You know, I mean, I think he is. You realize this guy did not play football in high school. You know, I mean, this guy was we're over there watching LSU's camp. This guy's brother's in the camp. He's there. He's not even participating in the camp. We meet him. He's going to Kilgore Junior College to play try football. He's a big-time AAU basketball player. Jabbar meets him and says, hey, my coach will like you. You know, you need to come over here, hour up the road. We put him through. That's back when you could do the private workouts. And we took a flyer on him, you know, and he's going to turn into a really good player for us, I think. 6'8", 355. You know, it's one thing to have an Achilles. It's another thing to be that big and come back from it, right? So, and look, he's changed his body. He's leaner. He's more explosive. He's had, although he's been injured, I think it speaks to the training room, Tyler Miles and return to play protocol in sports science does a great job, and then certainly working with the nutrition and strength conditioning. That plan has worked for him for sure.
You mentioned a second ago the importance of translating this to playing well on the road. What needs to happen to do that? Is it a matter of not getting too high after a win? What are some of the things that you think you need to see from this team to translate momentum into road games?
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, I think we've spent some time on it. You know, I think it's a challenge to play on the road in this league. And I think you see right now in college football, I don't know what the records are, but I think the home team has a pretty significant advantage, right? So, in particular, in our league, everywhere you go is pretty rowdy. So, I think one of the things that's important is that you start fast, right? You got to show that you're in the mix, that you're ready to go, and then ultimately you got to solve the operating in that environment, right? The communication element, and then ultimately it comes down to execution. I mean, I think we know when we play bad, we know why, you know. So we've got work to do. It's definitely going to be working on all those things this week.
Billy, you touched on Boardingham a couple minutes ago. Can you elaborate on his growth? What has he done to enable himself to have a game like he had tonight?
Well, last year we were really high on him, and he got hurt. You know, you can remember he had the shoulder. You know, had to go through that entire process to get back. And then, you know, he's a kid who hasn't played tight end. You know, so he's a receiver, linebacker. You know, he's a track athlete. So all the things that we're asking him to do are completely new, right? I mean, this guy hasn't played in the C area, hasn't played in the wing. There's a ton to learn in there. You know, he's a smart kid, but it's almost like playing quarterback to some degree. You know, there's a mental part that I can't tell you is challenging. You can't overlook that. And then there's a set of fundamentals that you have to learn at tight end. It's not like he had any background in that before he showed up, so it was all new. So mentally learning the system, and then fundamentally the physical component, all of that was new. So it's turning out to be a good evaluation. I think he was one of the guys. I mean, we hit the ground. Our personnel guys we're combing the entire country in terms of players that are left over, that are available. He was one of those. And look, we took a chance on the guy and brought him in. Phenomenal family. I mean, just really good people. So it's turned out well. I'm hopeful we'll get more of that out of him in the future.
Billy, what happened on the long touchdown play with Jason, and how you feel like the defense responded after that?
Yeah, they're telling me, I don't know. I haven't seen the TV copy. They're telling me that his face mask got grabbed and they yanked him down and he lost his balance. But, I don't know that. I know I've got a hard job, and those officials have got a hard job too, right? So I do think, really it's the only play we gave up in the first half. The big deal was Jakeem Jackson. That was a huge play in the game relative to momentum. He gives up the play, and then we are able to stop him, and then he makes the play. I thought that was one of the more pivotal sequence of events in the first half.
0 for 3 on fourth down. Just how critical was that in this game?
Yeah, I mean, conversion downs are important. Those are turnovers, right? So, we count them as takeaways. We count them as turnovers. When we talk about turnover margin, we include turnover on downs, right? So it's a critical piece of the puzzle for sure.
Time for a few more, France.
Billy, would you talk about how Trey Wilson, what he adds, how that opened the offense up a bit today?
Yeah. Trey's he's tough to tackle, man. He's got unique acceleration. Showed some toughness today, I thought. He's got some play strength to him, although he's a little bit smaller guy. But we were trying to get him the ball, as much as possible. And he's one of the players that you want to make sure has an opportunity. We tried a few things that didn't quite work today with him, but I think for the most part, we want to make sure when the game's over every week that he had his opportunity to impact the game.
Did you see what you were looking for from start to finish of the week in getting ready for this game after that game last week?
I thought that I'm going to tell you, man, early in the week, it's a challenge. It's a challenge for the staff. It's a challenge for the team. It's a challenge for me because of you're disappointed. But I do think we'll benefit from going through that. I think that's the important thing here. There's going to be growth comes with struggle. And I think we got to keep that edge. We got to remember what we felt like. That's got to be fuel for the fire for the future. And, we practice on Sunday night, and then they have a day off. We show up Tuesday. And I think by then we had evaluated what happened. We were comfortable with why. We were trying to still figure out some of the details. But I do think they showed up Tuesday, Wednesday, were good work days. I thought we finished. We tweaked the format of practice just a little bit, and I think it helped us. And then we just had a little bit different focus and energy, I thought, Thursday, Friday, And again, I think it goes back to Mark's question about a little bit embarrassed, I mean, this place, it'll get to you if you don't watch out, So, and they're young people. So I think it's healthy, because look, you guys know like I do, this game, I told them Friday, I said, look, your life is as simple as it's going to be right now, just so you know. More complicated days are coming, more responsibilities coming. It's important that we learn from some of the things that this game can teach us.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Guys, we have players back.
All right, guys.
Oh.
All right, guys. Joined by Shamar James. Jacob, you want to open it up?
Shamar, you guys have talked about generating more turnovers as a defense. Say 3 fumbles, 3 prevented fourth down conversions. How important was that to get going as you get into the second half of the schedule?
That was a big change around in the game. We take pride in third down stops and just getting turnovers is general as a defense.
Shamar only looks like you're only like 50 something rushing yards. I think like 58 rushing yards for Vanderbilt. None of their running backs were over 30 yards. Just talk about how the seeing that from the run defense and really shutting down their run game.
Most definitely, that was amazing to see. Just being a part of that, holding those running backs to the least amount of yards as possible. We still had that bad taste in our mouth from last week, and we just wanted to come out this week and execute.
Could you speak a little bit to that motivation from last week, and just how you saw it applied during the week as you prepared for this game?
Most definitely, we were embarrassed. I mean, as a defense, as a team, as a unit in general. Like it was embarrassing. Like that wasn't the Gator standard that we played to last week in Lexington, and we just wanted to get that bad taste out of our mouth this week and weeks after that as well.
Coach Napier said that he believes that experiences like that can be healthy, though, that you guys can learn from that. Do you agree, and how do you feel about that?
Most definitely, we know how it feels to lose real bad, and we know how it feels to win. So we don't want that feeling in our mouth anymore.
Guys, we got Arlis Boardingham available in the back.
Arlis.
Shamar, would you talk about the practice week and feeling the momentum building up to have a good week of on the field?
May you repeat that question? I'm sorry.
Would you talk about the practice week last week and how during the week you've started feeling like you were going to have a good game this week?
Oh, yes, sir, most definitely. Like, we came out Tuesday with our hairs on fire. Like, we was out there, turned up, ready to get to this game on Saturday, prepare each and every day. And, like you said, like last week's game was unacceptable, and we just wanted to, make it right this week.
Shamar, how do you translate this kind of an effort on the road? Because that seems like it's kind of the big issue right now. You guys are 4-0 at home, 0-2 on the road. I mean, how do you take this kind of mindset in the next week, you think?
Most definitely. Play every game like it's a home game. I guess that's how we'll take it. Going on the road, you just want to roll. Our back's against the wall. We only got us, just us. So we just need to come out, start fast and finish fast.
Holding Vanderbilt to, I think, less than 60 yards rushing. How important was that to kind of contain that and then force them to kind of beat you through the air?
Oh, yes, sir. That was most definitely important for us as a unit, as defense. That's just our standard this year. Coach Armstrong try to hold us to that standard each and every week.
You spoke about Coach Armstrong a little bit. How can you talk about the impact he's had on y'all after that big play that Vandy had? They got inside of the 10-yard line, and then immediately you guys held your ground. It feels like you guys never truly feel like you're out of it, no matter what happens.
Oh, yes, sir. One play, one drive. That's what he tell us. If we had a bad play, go on to the next. We had a good one, go on to the next. It's a 60-minute game, and we got to play every drive like it's our last.
Coach Napier said they tweaked practice a little bit this week. What was the changes, I guess, to practice?
We were still going hard, so I wouldn't really notice. But I guess we took a little bit off our legs, I would say, and just, we take a little bit off our legs, you go harder each and every rep.
You're a young guy, but you had a lot of young guys in the game tonight. Can you talk about what you're seeing from some of those guys?
Oh, yes, sir. Our young guys, they're some ballers. They came in ready to work, and that's what they get to play on Saturday nights and Saturday evenings. And, we got young guys like Bryce Thorne, Jordan Castell, T.J. Searcy. Those some guys that play like veterans, as you guys see. And they're a big impact on our team.
Can you talk about the sequence from Jakeem, giving up the 52-yard catch and then coming right back the next play, staying locked in, and making that pass deflection on fourth down?
Most definitely. That's just Keem playing, being who Keem is. He gave up that pass, but, next play, next drive. You know what I mean? And he didn't let him catch the next ball that he threw to him. So that's why I respect Keem a lot.
To do mentally, as a defensive player?
Most definitely. That's very hard. You just caught a ball, caught on you, and it's kind of like, the natural ability is just to hang your head. But he kept his chin high and just played till the drive was over. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, sir. Since I've known Arlis, he's been making plays, and Eugene as well. And those are just some playmakers that we have on our offense, and, you should expect a lot more from them as well. Thank you, guys.
Oh, you're the man.
All right, guys, joined by Graham Mertz, Mark Ecker.
Yeah, I'll start. You've taken a lot of hits this season. Where does that one that knocked you out of the game for a couple plays there? Is that one top of the list?
No. I mean, I just got hit a little weird, landed a little weird. I felt fine. It was just a little weird landing, so just want to make sure I was all right.
What about the guy when you were after you threw and the guy came out your knee out of nowhere? You remember that one?
No. Knee's fine, but
Okay.
I mean, one thing that I've taken a lot of shots in my career, so I feel like in a weird way you learn how to land and protect yourself. It's kind of like a unwritten rule of playing quarterback. Like sometimes you're gonna get blindsided and get hit, but it's kind of feeling where it's coming from and bracing for it if you can't do anything. I mean, some of those like some shot plays. I mean, I got to do a better job of throwing the ball away when it's not clean and just not taking those hits. But just got to play smart.
Is there like a badge of kind of honor to that?
I
mean, you're getting back up. And when did that kind of start happening? And you're realizing that quarterback, you just had to kind of, show that to the huddle.
I mean, the big thing is, you want to play the game, and I feel like I said it multiple times. I feel like I owe this place and this team everything I got. So, a little hit, that's not going to take me off my mission.
You've been doing that your whole career, though. I mean, I looked at Wisconsin. I don't think you missed what was the Michigan game? You missed a half. That was like
that was a big hit. I remember that one like it was yesterday.
I think you went to the hospital, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I could tell you the whole defense on that one. But that's part of it, and I think being able to, like I said, take those hits and keep moving. And sometimes they're inevitable; they're going to happen. But it's you got to get up, man. I think that's for me. That's my whole life. I take that approach to everything. If you get knocked down, you got to get back up, and that was kind of our theme of the week. So, literally happened. But it's yeah.
You speak to the balance on offense today. It was 270 passing, 210 rushing. It seemed like when you had to run, you could run. When you had to pass, you could pass. What was it like kind of guiding the offense through a game like that?
I'm proud of the O-line. We had a lot of guys. We had King and Barber out. A lot of guys moving around in there, and I'm proud of how they approached the week. I knew we were going to be effective running the ball after watching the film last week, and we corrected it. So, I think the O-line did a great job in the run game and the pass game of providing that. We knew they'd be multiple in their pressure looks, and I think we did a great job communicating that, getting us in the right protections, right run checks. So I think Slaughter did a great job of kind of communicating with me and working together in that. So it was really good.
Graham, congrats on the win today.
Thank you.
Winning here, you're 4-0. It looks fantastic on the outside, but of course the big thing is trying to win on the road, and of course, South Carolina is coming up next. So, outside of what Billy kind of blueprinted all of us as far as how a win works, what you need to do, how important would that be in terms of credibility in
winning on the road?
In winning on the road, yes.
I think that's big time. We've had 2 road losses, and I think back to those games, and the big thing was we didn't start fast, and we didn't execute. So going into this game, the point of emphasis was, okay, we're going to start fast, and we're going to finish faster. So, I think the guys did a great job of coming out swinging. We had an early turnover, but I think they did a good job of bouncing back. So, the big thing is watching that and realizing, okay, look, regardless of where we are, we need to start fast. And I think that's one thing that Coach has been hitting on us, especially this week, and that's one thing that we definitely got to build on going into next week. So it's the ability to start fast and maintain that throughout the game, regardless of the circumstances. And especially on the road, everybody always says you got to bring your own juice. So that's one thing we got to build that during the week and then bring that to South Carolina.
Would you talk about how the practice week came together and getting ready and getting to the feeling that, okay, we're ready for this game after such a disappointment last week?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, especially anytime you experience a disappointment or anything like that in this sport, it can do one of 2 things, and I think I hit you guys after the game on it. There's 2 ways that can go, and it can go downhill or it can go, okay, we got to build and we got to go uphill. So, I think throughout the week, especially started on Sunday, we hit everybody on that. Like, look, this is the only way we're going. There's no option of going this other way. So, I mean, like I said, I saw it in the O-line, in their response. I thought the guys were locked in throughout the week, and it just kept building. I thought Friday was especially clean, and we got to keep doing that.
Graham, sticking with the O-line, how do you feel like Damian did sliding from right to left, and then how do you feel like Lindell and Cam did with their opportunities at right tackle?
Man, I thought they did a great job. I think Dame did a good job moving to the left. I think Lindell and Cam, especially during the week, did a great job. Like I said, I mean, moving parts in there, but when you got a group of guys that they want to win, they want to play hard, they did a great job. So, I mean, especially like a guy like Cam. I mean, when I first got here, I saw. I mean, you look at the guy and you're like, holy crap, that guy is a refrigerator. And but just for a guy like that, I mean, I saw him go through rehab every day. So, I mean, it's a blast seeing a guy like that out there. And I think that's one thing that, especially on a team, when you go throughout the year, you see guys slowly get through their recovery and get back. I mean, we've got a lot of guys that are hurt right now, but that's a really, really good feeling when you see a guy like that in the huddle.
And then how do you feel like Max Brown did with his opportunity, and what did you see from him out there?
Yeah, I was excited for Max. I mean, I think one thing about Max is that I see throughout the week is just his prep. I think he does a great job of asking good questions, and then during practice executing. So, I mean, I got all faith in him when he goes in there. I was excited for him to get some tick at the end of the game. I mean, he made some good throws and got a little face mask action, so he got he got into it. But I'm happy for Max. Oh yeah.
Graham, just talk about your ability to spread the ball out to different receivers, because Ricky was a little less involved in the offense today, but 17 combined targets for Eugene and Arlis. Just talk about your ability to really develop chemistry with them and get the ball to them.
I think that was big time. I mean, I hit you guys last week after the game I felt like there were some opportunities where I could space the ball out and help our run game. So I really, during the week, I made that a point of emphasis when I have those chances to get those chances out there. So I thought we did a good job across the board. I mean, Ricky, I mean, I missed him on that slot fade by like 4 or 5 yards. So got to give him a little better ball, but I know that guy's going to make that play 10 times out of 10. And then you think about Trey. Sorry, I'm thinking about all the misses right now, but yeah, I'm proud of all the guys. I thought Arlis played great. I mean, I thought he played physical, especially on that, it was like a 3rd and 15. I mean, we repped all week. We knew we'd get that zone look, and we talk about catch puncture, and he did a great job of catching the ball and puncturing, getting vertical, and playing physical. So, I mean, I'm proud of all those guys, and I appreciate everything they do during the week.
And Billy had said that, even though Arlis, his numbers necessarily didn't show it during the game, but he was, watching him in practice wasn't a surprise, to see him put a game together like this. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like I said, I mean, just across the board, the week of prep, I mean, before the game, I told the guys, like, look, we're ready. Like, we just got to go out there and just play and have fun. And I think Arlis did a great job during the prep of stacking good days together. I think the important thing are those Tuesday, Wednesdays, and that's what really builds the confidence for the game. And I thought he had a great Tuesday and Wednesday.
You talked about all the misses, but your completion percentage has been through the roof. I mean, you were 30 of 36 again tonight, and 6 games in. How much more confident are you with this group? Arlis Boardingham especially. Did you see something during the week in practice that indicated he was going to have a game like this tonight?
Yeah, I thought he practiced hard. I mean, every day, going into even the walkthrough, and just his attention to detail. I mean, early, it's funny. You say all the misses, and the first thing he comes up to me after the game, he's like, "Oh, I should have caught that one early in the game." But I mean, that's just how we think. I mean, we're always in this game. You got to have a growth mindset. I mean, complacency kills, and you gotta look at where you can improve. So. I thought Arlis had a great week.
Not to get a bad note here, but Coach said you may have held on to the ball
a
long time, a few times tonight. Just go into that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned it earlier, but especially, I mean, there was one look where I could have thrown it downfield and thought I could step up and make a play and got sacked. I mean, that was the one I went out on, but there were definitely a couple of times that I held the ball a little too long. I got to be quicker in my decision making, and when it's not there, I mean, especially like the intentional grounding. I mean, I've played football long enough to know you got to throw that past the line. So, I mean, just don't hold on to the ball and don't make a bad play worse. So, I definitely got to do a better job of that.
Would you say the next step is to start hitting those downfield passes a little bit?
Oh yeah,
quicker?
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's definitely a part we got to hit, but we're good.
You touched on it a little bit earlier, but winning those road games, what I guess have you learned from the trip to Salt Lake and the trip to Lexington, whether it's good or bad? Hey, we need to do more of this or less of this that you can use next week.
Yeah, I mean, I played in a lot of away games. The ones that go right, you start fast, and I mentioned that. But I mean, we hit on it after the Utah game. It comes down to execution, and when the environment's loud, how can we use nonverbal communication? How can we get that right during the week so we can be ready for the game? So, I mean, the big thing, it's always going to be, this game's all about execution, but especially when you're on the road, it's starting fast and executing. So, I can guarantee you that's going to be my point of emphasis for this whole team this week. Thank you, guys. Sorry I took a little bit of time getting a shower.
Game, what was the defense's mindset heading into Sunday's practice and then into the game week?
Man, wipe this dirt off, because you in this game, like, you try not to let that happen, and you try to go somewhere with the right attitude, with the right mindset, but it happened. But the thing is, how do you respond, and what do you do about it? So our whole thing was from Sunday till today was, let's wipe this dirt off. Let's get up off the mat. Let's get up out the mud, clean this off, and go back to work. And then let's obviously correct what we need to correct, and then go out there and execute and play the type of football we need to play. That's the main thing.
You've got a couple sacks this year. I want to know what's going through your mind during the celebration. It looks like you kind of lose your mind a little bit.
I do lose my mind, but it's fine. I'm fine with losing my mind.
Turnovers were kind of